It's time to move to the second speaker, second participant. The second participant is Mr. Ashirwad Das. He the English honor students, but he has taken philosophy as elective in Noida Autonomous College, and we know that both English literature and philosophy discourses the different area of consciousness and death consciousness. And Mr. Ashirwad Das has taken a very beautiful topic, that is death consciousness, under the supervision of Professor Pramod Kumar Das. May I request Mr. Ashirwad Das to present his paper on death consciousness. Over to Mr. Das.
Good morning to everyone. My respect to everyone. Myself Ashirwad Das. So I have chosen the topic death consciousness. So death is a fact of life. Everything, we all are just a piece of planet. Our consciousness of the fact that death, our consciousness of the fact is death consciousness. We know that it is my body and it is your body, it is my cert, it is your cert, but there is no certain thing like that. This is my consciousness and this is your consciousness. Consciousness is same. It is not, as we say, it is my it's my house and it is your house, but there is no such things like it is my consciousness and it is your consciousness. Human is a privileged animal who has the capability, who has the neurological capability of experiencing the consciousness. Consciousness can't be understood, but we can experience it. So, whatever is born shall die one day. So, death is a natural consequence. We may accept it or not, but death is going to come. That is the reality. But no living entity except man is conscious of death. My weight is 55 kg, but I don't feel when I walk or when I do something or when when I'm riding my cycle or when I'm going to the gym, I don't feel like I'm carrying my weight. I have the weight, but I don't feel like I'm carrying the weight. Not only me, but everyone. No one feel that they are carrying something. Do we carry our 60 kg? Do we carry our 55 kg? We don't carry our weight. It is within us. Like that, consciousness is within us. We may be subconscious, we may be unconscious, we may be conscious, but it's all within us. As we don't carry our weight. So, what we eat or drink, the moment if we're drinking coffee, the thing which is in the cup, it is coffee. But the moment we take it, it becomes us. If I'm drinking the coffee, the moment I take the first sip of the coffee, that first sip is Ashirwad, not that coffee anymore. So death consciousness is only a human possibility because we have the capability of experiencing the consciousness of death. So coming to the death, human inquiries revolve around two possible discourses, such as physics and metaphysics. Physics denotes the range of human knowledge, and whatever is not known yet denotes the domain of metaphysics. What we know still yet is physics, and whatever is not known yet denotes the domain of metaphysics. In the history of English literature, the great authors like Shakespeare, there are many authors, they have their metaphysical poetries. But as we are living in 2021 and it is going to be 2022, so we are not going to talk anything about afterlife. this topic is not about anything related to afterlife or after we die, what happens after death. It's not about that. It's about death, consciousness of the fact that death is a reality. It's a real crisis when people fear to die. But there are people who don't fear to die. They are much more powerful than us. That is the main reason. As if a soldier is ready to die for us, so but we the citizens of India are not ready to give our life for the country. That is the difference between the between the person who is conscious of death and who is fearing death. When someone is conscious of something, the fear goes away. Once the unknown metaphysics lands in human speculations and the known physics becomes man-centric. Whatever we know, whatever we study, it all becomes man-centric. That we have planet, we all are just a piece of this planet. But to see the different galaxies, we need a telescope. The telescopes helps us to see the galaxy. But the very telescope is not the thing that we see. It just helps us to see that. But what we see is different. Like that, no philosophy, no science, no poetry, no writing is possible at the time of war. In Afghanistan, where civil war is going on, at a time of war, where there is a matter of survival, they don't know that whether whether they're going to leave today or no, or not, how they can write a book in that type of condition. So we can talk about something, we can talk here, we can read something, we can enjoy, we can have entertainment if we have a good politic, if we have a good government. That is the main thing. When there is in Afghanistan, when people are fearing, there is no government has been settled down till yet, so people are fearing, people are in a terrible condition. So how they can read something, how they can, so we need peace to have the to make us to have entertainment, to read, to talk. It is possible in Afghanistan or in Jammu Kashmir there was no internet, so this meeting could not be possible if we are from Jammu Kashmir or Afghanistan. So we are privileged that we are born in India and Odisha. So that's the thing. So death consciousness. I'm coming to a topic. Laws of physics are eternal truth, but the interpretation of these laws becomes man-centric. We die every day. Death, we die every day. Each day, 6,000 living cells die among the trillion of cells in our body. Each day, 6,000 cells die among the trillion of cells in our body. It is because man thinks himself as the measure of everything and his standard of all knowledge and values. This is a real crisis of human life. No doubt man is a privileged animal, having possessed a very sophisticated brain, and in that respect is superior to other species. This position of a sophisticated brain has double-sided effects. The merit is that man is self-conscious, and the demerit is that man's consciousness is self-centric and human interest for the physical world has been self-centered. For the self-centric consciousness and the self-centered interest for the physical world have made man selfish and pleasure-oriented. Under this spell of ignorance, man tends to believe that pleasure is the only value in the pursuit of anything, including education, prosperity, and success in life. Man has been trapped by the format of being a human. Real education is transcending the limited vision of the reality. Man is the only species, I repeat, man is the only species who has the possibility of, because we have that instrument, we have that sophisticated mechanism, instrument to experience the consciousness. No other creature in the world, they are conscious, no doubt, they are conscious. If they're conscious, but they don't have that instrument. We are privileged because we have that instrument. So I don't know if it is going to controversial or not, but still yet the Atangwadis and Maowadis, they also don't fear death. For the very few people, a group of 10 people or 8 people, a very small amount of people, they just enter and blast and fire, as in the Mumbai, in the Taj Hotel case. Men entered by the seaways, and they were powerful because they don't fear death. And the soldiers of that, and the soldiers and the force and the police of that of Mumbai, they also don't fear the death, and they faced them and encountered each of them. And Keshav and the man who was alive has also been hanged. But we all faced it, because that is the power we achieve when we don't have the fear of death. So understanding life is a psychological mindset. Medical science has proved that almost all human diseases are psychosomatic. Man suffers from his own visions and interpretations. The only solution to human crisis is self-consciousness, which is not self-centric but transcentric. The transcentric consciousness transcends all self-centric misinterpretations. The transcentric consciousness makes man aware of the holistic application of his own rationality. Man gradually understands that everything is relative from a higher perspective. Man gradually realizes that every living being has right to life and justice. Man, being a highly evolved species in the creation, must take care of the environment and other living beings. Human bondage is his own false conception. We fight in our house, there are a class of thoughts, but we never think that we have that freedom, that for having the class of thought. We have the freedom of speech. We can say whatever we want to say. That's why the class of the people are, because we are having the democracy, the strike is possible. If there is any other government, then there is no strike. Means the political parties, they are striking. They Bharat Bandh, they do Bharat Bandh, but this is all possible because it's a democratic country. The politics, a good politics, is really necessary for a good because it creates a good environment for education, for living, and for our entertainment. So, as that is a fact of life, facts should not be a fiction. Animals are ignorant of facts, and humans are obvious of facts. Humans are oblivious of facts. Death consciousness becomes meaningful when life is lived fully without the fear of death. And with death consciousness, death is metaphysical only in the sense that it happens to man without his predictions. I don't know about salvation, but death consciousness converts the metaphysical mystery to the physical awareness. Death consciousness converts the metaphysical mystery to the physical awareness. This is the art of living. This is one of the part of art of living. When a soldier joins a army in his troop, he doesn't know when he is going to die. So he don't fear the death. We really die when we fear death. People die many times before they die. That is the crisis. We die many times before we really die. The real death is a metaphysical, but man experiences the fear of death in the physical world because of his own speculative fear of death. Living life is more important than fearing death. Life is a gift. Even if committing suicide is also illegal, I don't remember that section, that IPC section that government has considered, but still, if someone committing suicide is illegal, so we don't have rights on our own body to commit the suicide, because body is the gift of the God. It's a gift of the nature. With the part of the nature, we can destroy the nature, but we fear to lose the body, which is a gift God has given us, and God is going to take it. So why shall we fear for death? We should not fear for the death, because we don't know that we were going to born. We don't know. We have not chosen our father. We have not chosen our name. We have not chosen our place of birth. We have not chosen our anything. So we should not fear for the death. The difference between a soldier in the battlefield and a common ignorant man who lives a worldly life with full of attachment to his self-centric ideas and positions, the death of both is also different. The death of soldier is honored as Shahid, who died for us, and we, the common civilian, are not ready to die for the pride of the state. In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna was reluctant to fight only for the fear of death of his relatives. He was reluctant because he was fearing that his relatives are going to die. But Lord Krishna explained to Arjuna the real fact of death, which was a sort of metaphysics for Arjuna, as he was ignorant of the fact that for the protection of the dharma, he needs to do the right karma. For the protection of dharma, he needs to do the right karma. Afterwards, when Arjuna realized that dharma should be protected and the victory shall be of the very truth, Satya, and understood that death is only a fact of life, so the possibility of death of his relatives is less important than victory of truth. Satya meva jayate. So here is only one question: as we have the instrument to experience the consciousness, so will you allow it or not? Is the only question, to experience it. If we are going to allow it, so we are going to live a life with no fear of death or with any fear. Who know that he is going to die? Who know that everything is temporary? His way of living is very different than others. He may face problem, but the way he deals with the problem is totally different from others. The mindset makes one heroic and inspires one to live like a soldier. Once that is understood, life become meaningful for living with a genuine purpose. If every moment is a moment of death, similarly, every moment is also a moment of life. As we are dying every day, as our every living cells are dying every day, so like that, every moment is also a moment of life, which should not be missed or neglected in the fear of death. If one has death consciousness, for him every moment is precious. Every who is conscious of death, for him every moment is precious, and every relationship is precious, and every action is precious. He knows his karma. So man has to transcend his self-centric visions of life and death to higher layer of consciousness, which is the real transformation. Every man should have death consciousness and fearless attitude. This is the thing.
Ashribad, it's time to conclude.
Achha.
Ashribad.
So uh, I'm going to conclude. My conclusion is we have our freedom that will we allow ourselves or not to experience the death consciousness because it can't be understood. We can only experience it because we have the instrument. So the thing is, if we experience if we experience it, then we can live like a soldier. And the way of living and the way we live and the way a soldier live, that he has no fear of death is totally different. Being aware of the fact that death is a fact of life is a very simple thing, and we should not fear death. That is my conclusion. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much, Asibad, for your beautiful exposition on death consciousness and man being self-conscious. You have taken that how death is a fact of life and death is a body's fate, and death can be discussed from the real point of view. And you have also taken different aspects of the metaphysical views on the human being as a human being, how death is to be considered as from different point of view, that is from epistemological point of view, from the real point of view, and from the metaphysical point of view. You have taken also the examples of English literature and the views of philosophy, Indian philosophy. So now over to Professor Dr. K. now to moderate the question session.
Well, thank you, Dr. Maharana, and I should thank the speaker also. What Dr. Anup Rai sir was saying during the course after the last lecture, after the last presentation, that one should speak from the mind and not just read out, and Asirabad has done that. I request first of all the participants, if they have some any question in the mind, I again request them to open up and have questions, so that way they learn and everybody learns. So any question from the side? Well, nobody's unmuting. Well, somebody, Anup Chaitanya has put his microphone on. Any question from his side? Well, I don't see any question. Well, it would be better if the other microphones are put off, because that will affect the recording. If we are not speaking, please put off the microphones, because we are recording this event and that will be uploaded. So, well, I request now Professor Kailash Das sir to have a question for Asirabad.
Thank you, Om Babu. I don't have a specific question. It seems like Asirabad was in between giving examples of contemporary events around it, while trying to make his point relevant. But as a student of literature as well as philosophy, I was expecting that he will be talking about death consciousness, the problem of death, the problem of suicide is a very important, and he has chosen a very, very important topic, which has really been very relevant in 20th century existentialist philosophy and continental philosophies as a whole. So now, my simple point is that if you will refer in future a book written by Khushwant Singh about death at my doorstep, death as if knocking at his door, and what is his feeling, he's expressing very beautifully. He's a man of literature. Then again, coming back to philosophy and literature, one of the greatest thinkers in both the fields is Schopenhauer. Schopenhauer has said that the will to live is a very famous article, and it has really been a lot of discussion is going on in that. There he said that death is the antithesis of the will to live. We want to live, we don't want to die. So death has been considered an absurd thing that is imposed, the cosmic absurdity, as if in Camus language, that it is happening to us. So what is human being's answer to this absurdity? what is human being's answer to this death? When he has given examples of how uh, an insect is just after consummating it dies, because it is prolonging life and trying to live through its offsprings. So death of the parent happens there in some animal kingdom, some species, that immediately it dies there just after consummating some insects. That he has given those examples. But actually what happens is human beings want to continue. Okay. So the question is how to face this death consciousness, and how positively we can arrive at a stage where even if death is there, the impending death is there in front of us, but at the same time we have to say in this life, right? So I want you to answer this very briefly, that how are we going to face the absurdity of death? We do not know why we are going to die. If we consider death as a punishment, it is a cosmic punishment, it is a death sentence. All of us, we are carrying a death sentence. And the culprit who is carrying a death sentence in a jail, he knows which day he is going to be hanged, but we are going to die one day without doing any fault. In that line, can you reflect over the topic?
Before we burn, do we choose our birthplace or birth? We have that wish that we should burn? We don't. We never think of that. We never, because we don't have that consciousness before we have burned. That means I would like to clear that, as we have got the gift, life has, we got gift. Before we burn, we don't know that we are going to burn. That's my thing I'm going to say. Like that, as we have burned, so we shall die. So, as death is as someone's in someone's perspective, death is an antithesis, and it's a painful thing. I admire. If someone dies, we really cry, but still, it's a fact. It's a fact. If there are many soldiers around there to die, then why we are not? Then why we are not going to die for a good cause? Then rather than consuming something bad things in the society and harming people, so the fact is that death is a fact of life, and we should not fear, because if we start fearing about it, we can't live our life. That is the thing. We should live the life fully. Then we gonna have the best death. Death should be perfect, not imperfect, because death, as death is a part of it. As we are going to eat, we are complete. After eating, we are washing our plate. So like that, as we are living our life, so death should be perfect. So how it could be perfect? It could be perfect if we have lived our life fully. After death, we don't have any control over it. So we should understand something in which we have control over it. So we have control upon our living, how we can live the life. So if we don't have fear the death, we can live it fully. We can live it fully. With I want to give an example. A man was walking. He was having his morning walk, and he saw a lady was attacked by a masked man, and he was pinpointed by a knife. His throat, the girl's throat was near, and that man has the knife, and he was fearing that lady. The guy who was having his morning walk, he suddenly ran. And this story, this is not a story, this is an YouTube video. You can see it later. But the thing is, the man ran away and suddenly fight with that guy who was having that knife, and save the girl. But the scene is that the guy was not a robbery or a gangster. There was a film shooting going on. But the man who was walking there, what he saw, he saw that man doesn't have the fear of death. So that is the possibility he faced. Here in the market, people see the difficulties of people, but there is no one going to help them because they fear death. So that man was the army man. So that is the way of living. He don't even think that he is going to say, because it's nature. It is in nature. He just went and protect the girl. But the scene is that they were shooting a film. But what he see, he just responded. And this response is all about when someone doesn't fear death.
Okay. Now let's move to Dr. Roy, Dr. Anup Roy.
No question. Carry on.
Okay. Well, we have a question in the chat box. It is by Smriti Rekha Nayak. Well, maybe she's not comfortable unmuting herself. Well, one thing what I could get from her question is, well, the rest of the parts, Asirvad has more or less touched. One thing, Asirvad, when it started up, he said consciousness is one and there is no distinction in consciousness. So what Smriti Rekha carries in his mind is, how do you say, or why do you say that there is consciousness is one, and why don't you try to make a distinction in the consciousness in different forms of life? Why do you...
As there is a banana, and when we eat the banana, it becomes us. When I take the apple, it becomes me. If I take something bad, if I take alcohol, then it becomes me. What we take, it becomes me. So like that, there is distinction between human body. It's my body, it's your body. It's my hair, it's your hair. It's my eye, it's my thought, it's your thought. It's my book, it's your book. But consciousness is same. Because I said that because consciousness can't be different. It is one thing. As I can give you an example. Like when one guy, when someone do meditation, so they do it for, someone may do it for 20 minutes or 25 minutes or 1 hour. That's a different thing. But the thing they do it for, the reason is same. Like that, the consciousness, when we achieve the consciousness, human is also unconscious, subconscious, there are 3 parts of conscious, but still the consciousness is same. The consciousness can't be different. It is the same level.
Okay. Let's move to Tanushree. Well, she has a question in her mind. Well, Tanushree, unmute and you can have your question. Well, Tanushree.
Yes, sir. So I was saying, as Asirvad mentioned in his speech, that life is a gift by nature and we should live to the fullest. So what would you say about one who is meditating to trying to depart from the body? So how is your view about that?
If someone is trying to depart from his body, so he doesn't know how to live the life fullest, and it may be one perspective, and one, either he has been satisfied with his life and he's going, but it is wrong. It's a gift of life. We should enjoy our life. We should enjoy the gift of God. We should take care of it. We're not taking care of it. That's the problem. And the man who got, and we got the gift, not we man, animals have got the gift, but the difference is we understand it, they don't understand it. That is the difference. We have the instrument in our human brain, we have neurological thing that we can understand and they don't understand. And if someone is trying to depart, so
okay, got your point. Thank you, Asirvad. Well, a small, say, instance, something like this. Suppose there is a silent path, and you know there is a dragon there. Okay, you know that there is a dragon. You're conscious that there is a dragon, and what would be your psychology moving on that silent path? Number one. And suppose you didn't have any knowledge of a dragon being there. Okay, you're not conscious at all of any dragon being there, and how do you move? So you see this mindset. Okay, in one sense you are conscious that there is a dragon on the path, and the other sense you don't have that consciousness. You are not conscious of any dragon being there. So the very consciousness brings in an element of fear, or whether it makes you strong. You see, you happily moved on that path when there was no knowledge, when you were not conscious that there was a dragon. But once you are conscious that there is a dragon, some sort of, say, a thought process, some sort of fear enters. How do you say this? Whether being conscious is an important sign, or not being conscious is a better sign. How do you say this?
Being aware of the dragon and being conscious about the death. If I know that in that path, in that empty path, no one is with me, I am alone, and I have to go in the path, and there is a dragon, and I have no other choice, and I have no fear to die, then I have to go, and I have to go, so I will go. But if I don't know, then I will go it happily. It is very natural. If someone doesn't know about the problem, then why he is going to think about the problem? So consciousness. So when we see our death, so I'm saying this, but the last thing, so when we see the last moment of our death, the dragon is going to eat me, or dragon is going to throw his fire from his mouth on my face. So the last thing should be like that. There should be a smile on my face before I die.
So one thing, why I did ask you this question, because in Sambalpur, where I used to stay, normally I used to go by that road, but once I saw a very big snake, and from that day I never thought of going by that road. So when I was unaware, I used to move comfortably. But once I saw a very big snake on that road, I totally stopped moving on that road. So that's the problem that I carried, and I tried to ask you. Anyway, well, this paper brought in very good thing, that what Asirvad has said, death is a fact of life, but managing death is an art of life. So this is what the message that he carries. Thank you, Asirvad. Now let's move to Kailas Mahana sir for carrying on, inviting the next speaker. Thank you, Asirvad.
Okay, thanks so much, Asirvad, for extending your thought to different dimensions of death consciousness. Thanks so much for the brilliant response to the different questions asked by the judges and other viewers. Now, over to